Logan the Layman Critic here. Today's review is for 2017's Star Wars The Last Jedi. It stars Mark Hamill, Daisy Ridley, and Adam Driver. Let's talk movies. I'll do my best not to spoil anything, so I'll give a very, very brief setup for the plot. The First Order is hot on the heels of the Resistance fleet. Their numbers are quickly dwindling and their fuel is getting scarce, so Poe, Finn, BB-8, and a mechanic named Rose concoct a plan to escape their enemy. Meanwhile, Rey has located Luke Skywalker and is petitioning him for help and training. The Last Jedi is a much, much better Star Wars film than The Force Awakens. I've loved and enjoyed all of the preceding films, but Episode 7 was plagued with problems which this new entry thankfully avoids. First off, The Last Jedi is not a retread of The Empire Strikes Back like many people, including myself, were afraid would happen. Certainly there are some nods to it, but the narrative is not from the same blueprint, and I was pleasantly surprised at the number of times where the story and characters went in a direction that broke from my expectation. George Lucas's criticism of The Force Awakens was that it didn't take any major risks or tread new ground, and I agree with him on that. The Last Jedi does not repeat this mistake. Secondly, they've improved on Rey's character considerably. She was insufferable in Episode 7 by being conveniently good at everything, which was a quality that none of the protagonists from the previous films had. The character is much more grounded and humbled here, and we get to see some emotional exploration that was done really well by Daisy Ridley. I'd also add that the overly obnoxious and heavy-handed feminism that plagued The Force Awakens, it's gone here, or at least toned down considerably. The new female characters of importance, Rose and Holdo, played by Kelly Marie Tran and Laura Dern, respectively. They're both appealing characters, and they actually contribute something to the cause and the plot. Third improvement, more Poe. Oscar Isaac was great in The Force Awakens, and he was also underutilized. That has thankfully been rectified here. He's still as hot-headed, irreverent, and charismatic as ever. Fourth improvement, and this one may be puzzling to some people, but I will go into that. My biggest problem with The Force Awakens is that the narrative aesthetic it's not consistent with the two previous trilogies. By that I mean that J.J. Abrams was making a Star Wars film by being influenced by Star Wars, whereas George Lucas made his Star Wars films by being influenced by science fiction, comics, books, and movie serials that he consumed in his childhood, as well as the monomyth. Now, episodes 1 through 6 are written and performed in a very stilted manner, and that's because of George Lucas's influences, because they themselves were executed in a stilted manner. The Force Awakens doesn't do this, and there's sort of a disconnect there from that. The Last Jedi isn't a complete return to original form, but it's much more consistent than its preceding episode. Now for my grievances. Minor spoilers, FYI. Well, actually, I wouldn't even say minor spoilers. Yeah, there's just spoilers, so just be warned. The first problem that I have is that Finn, Rose, and BB-8's mission is kind of a pointless side adventure. I also thought that the planet they traveled to was a little bit too much like Earth in its aesthetic or art direction. I also thought... no, I already mentioned that. My second problem, and this is a huge sin to commit in a Star Wars film, especially one of the episodes, is that there are no lightsaber duels to be found. None. There are some fights where the lightsabers are being used, but no dueling, no one-on-one. And that's a big no-no. Hopefully Episode 9 will make up for this mistake by doubling the dueling. Yeah, so that's it. That's my review. As I said, I love all of the Star Wars films, and this one has not changed that point of view. The Last Jedi isn't my favorite Star Wars film, or even my second favorite, Those would go to The Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith. But I still really liked it, and it's got me pumped for the next entry in a way that Episode 7 didn't. So let's hope they end this trilogy with an even better film. Thanks for watching.